So I gotta hold it up the entire time? Wow. Okay. Well, let's see if I can fix that. No. That's ridiculous. I gotta hold it up like that just so that way that works. Crud. Okay. Oh gosh, Shades. Yeah, you'd be the first one to actually be in my stream. Oh gosh. Well, it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I figured why not. So, hey, what's up, Orlina? I don't know. I just got into streaming. I'm in a good mood right now. A bit of some like changes in like my work stuff is coming to up ahead, and I haven't done a stream in a long time, so I figured to do that. For some reason though, this streaming won't allow me to do horizontal, so I have to do it vertically. So it's a little bit of a weird aspect for me to do this. So immediately when I started streaming, like 4 people immediately hopped on and started seeing me. So I guess that was a surprise right there. I guess before I do anything, I'm gonna stream that debate thing because I haven't got my chance to really watch it. The only thing that I really got the kick out of was just yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. If I do get a call or anything, forgive me. So I'm not sure how long the stream's going to last. If it's going to be about at least 30 minutes or an hour or so. Uh, it just depends on which, because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to pick up my friend from work here later on. So if my stream suddenly ends, please don't take that offensively. I'm just, you know, I do have stuff I do need to take care of as well. But I just want to give the guys a heads up on that. Okay, so how are you guys doing? Oh gosh, that dude, that dude cannot really get over himself, really. The whole Starbucks red cup thing, and he threw a fit over that. I remember. I haven't seen a video of his since he pretty much released that crappy, controversial crap. Yeah, might as well. In some ways, I can see where he's coming from about the. I mean, I can understand that. I'm gonna kind of narrow down the context of that part because Shades, you might understand that part. So you get the gist of what I mean specifically. Yeah, it's right here. But the difference of that context is that, you know, it should be a lot more clear if that's not something you want to, like, if that's not something you desire, then don't go for it. See what I mean? It's simple context, or pretty much the simple perspective on the matter that actually has a little bit more of a resounding. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit more of a. Sorry, it sounds a little bit more arcane when I think about it, but I do something here. You know what? I'm gonna search up Dust Unknown real quick because I haven't heard from this guy in a long time. Oh gosh. Okay, so his last video was 3 months ago. Don't worry, I'm not clicking on anything. I'm just checking out his stuff. Nothing new, so I can't really get into that. Okay. Don't freak out. I'm It's only because I was given a notification, and so I have to check this out. So Shades, do not get upset. I got a notification, like not a notification, but like one of these random videos from Morgue Official. It's not directed at me or anything. It's just there. It's just on a recommended feed, and okay. I was just bringing on some Metallica lately after watching a documentary. Ooh, I like you. Shit, I don't know what this guy's been doing. So I don't want to be like too loud because I got like neighbors upstairs and on the other side. I don't want to be too loud because it's like technically 11 o'clock ish, 11:45 ish. So the mind cannot heal the body, science cannot explain. What? So this was in my recommendation feed.
But not enough about the subject.
Okay, I don't
So
care.
today we're talking about, can the mind heal the body? And this is a question I get all the time. Can the mind heal the body? Do crystals work? Does thinking about and belief in healing make it actually occur? I get this asked a lot. So this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And we're actually going to look at an ability of the mind to heal the body that science
There we go.
cannot explain.
Marshall Applewhite in a
And
wig,
to
just
say
trying to
right
stay
off the bat,
relevant.
big disclaimer, I and we are not against medical science in any way. Medical science is extremely important. I am not a doctor. This doesn't constitute medical advice. Always listen to your doctor. Always stay.
I find that a little ironic, but like again, I could be jumping the gun on here because it has been a long while since I've seen like any of Morgue Official's videos. But like, wasn't kind of the idea of Hyperionism supposed to be against that sort of thing? I mean, it contradicts one way or another, and then you kind of see how he projects one point and then he adds on to another. So it didn't make sense at that time, so I figured in one way, it's weird. So he's sort of pro medicine. So maybe he did watch maybe one of Stevie's videos because Stevie did actually bring up at one point something about science and medicine. So I mean, it could be a possibility. Top 2 Metallica albums so far: No Order, Master of Puppets. Oh, no, I need to see the live feed. There we go. Live chat. Master of Puppets, Kill 'Em All, and Ride the Lightning. Still need to finish listening to the rest of the catalog. Oh my gosh, listen to all the songs. It's a ride, definitely.
Stay healthy and always listen to medical science. Very important. Okay.
Well, at least he's on board with that part. So let's just see how this goes.
But that being said, we are going to look at the ability of the mind to heal the body and see what that says about reality and our day-to-day life and everything that entails. So it's going to be a really good one. Again, it's a question I get asked a lot, so it's important to talk about. I want to make a big announcement, though. We have officially launched a hidden Discord server called The Citadel, and this is available to everyone who supports on Patreon and anyone who supports on YouTube.
Okay, but I wonder if this guy's still making any books, though. The weird thing about this is that when he started out his group called Hyperionism, he kind of sold all these books, which had like a lot of bizarre subject matters regarding pretty much what he was starting his role in Hyperionism. Now, I myself, a lot of people from other aspects, whether if you're Christian, whether if you're Satanist, whether if you're Buddhist, whether Taoist or atheist, or pretty much in the spectrum of all, they pretty much all agree that this kind of cult material obviously doesn't have any objective areas or pretty much standpoints in regards to the basis of reality, because in one way, again, he makes the projected point that goes against science, and obviously because the guy obviously has issues with religion, but I believe in some aspects he has a misdirection of where science, materialism, and imperialism is subject to other matter in. Yeah, he's still making videos, but like it's not really something I can't really do. I mean, this is science and healing, which I'm not really gonna waste my time on it, but it's because it's really nothing to kind of like. Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, I spent my time on this one, but like this one I haven't seen. This was 2 weeks ago. Mainstream religion and freedom. No, 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 no. It's the one in Texas. Yeah, no, it's the same one.
That's my old bill. $972.
I live in Texas. This is about Texas. Let's just get into it.
$150.
Today we're talking about what's going on in Texas as well as what's going on in Afghanistan. In essence, women's rights are being taken away all over. This is something that...
Okay, I mean, I agree with that part. It's an issue that happens in other countries too, but okay, I'm on board with that part. I'm on board with the fact that that's a major problem.
I am very passionate about, and I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but it's very...
But just because I agree doesn't mean that I like this guy's channel. And I can't say something about someone I don't know, but like when you project this sort of material, it becomes questionable. So, let me view my live chat. Oh shit, boy! And welcome to Central Time Zone. Yes, Central Time Zone is actually, in fact, my favorite time as opposed to Pacific Rock and Eastern Time, because for me, it's more comfortable for me to actually adjust into that time zone. It's easier for me to sleep, easier for me to wake up, easier for me to kind of get around and kind of flex my time in. So.
Very difficult because of all the censorship on social media. However, I'm getting really sick of that. And I'm going to do my best to be able to talk about it today in a way that won't jeopardize anything. But I really want to talk to you guys about this because it is... And in Texas, as rights are being stripped away, and not only are they being stripped away, but it is clearly fueled by religious ideology. Whether that is explicit in the case of Afghanistan or behind the scenes in the case of what's happening in Texas.
Well, it's not only just religious areas that matters. You got to also think that there's also a political aspect to this as well too. I mean, politics, religion, in that sense, yeah, they actually, what do they have in common? There's corruption behind both of those. So, if you're gonna throw in because mostly due to religion, then you might as well throw the political aspect into there too. I'm actually saying this in a genuinely mature tone. That's something you should probably involve. But again, we're only 59 seconds into this, so I may be jumping the gun on that. So bear with me.
So, as you know, we absolutely support freedom for all, the freedom for individuals to be able to actualize.
Okay, not disagreeing with that. But again, this is pretty much the same kind of dude a lot of people have questioned based upon his methods from, his history of videos. So, let's see where this goes. My bad.
Transform and grow, whether you're male, female, non-binary, trans, or what have you. Shouldn't matter your sex, age, gender, or race. Everyone should have the opportunity and freedom to be able to actualize themselves, and that is being taken away from people. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. There's a few things I have to mention about, how I'm going to do that without, pissing off the social media algorithms. But we're going to do our best. If you see me, pausing a bit, it's because I have to choose my words carefully. But that's what we're going to do today. So we are going to talk about what's going on mostly in Texas, but a little bit about the Middle East as well. And please keep in mind, if you see me searching for words or pausing every now and then, that's because deplatforming and censorship is getting really bad on social media. So I have to be...
I'm going to also agree with this point. It is becoming a little bit more out of hand that because you say swear words on social media, or you happen to talk about something that's very controversial, or you film something that's supposed to cover something controversial and you can't say certain words. I believe that is one of the most indignious things that YouTube itself as a company and for its platform site to ever do. Same thing with Facebook. It's happened to me before too, because I happen to say something that, quote unquote offends somebody only because you state a certain type of viewpoint or you talk about something that you just feel like you're strong and passionate about. If something like that offends somebody, and let's not even go into offensive territory. Let's just say that you just say something and it's a regular disagreement. Somebody disagrees with it, but they try to censor you for it, and Facebook pretty much kicks you off of it. You're gonna have every right to feel upset. YouTube, on the other hand, is pretty much the embodiment of hypocrisy that is displayed all over. You can't talk about certain things. You can't talk about certain sexual things. You can't talk about violent things. You can't talk about certain areas about that. But yet somehow YouTube displays ads which pretty much relate to certain subjects regarding exactly these things, and even very questionable ads too. But yet we, as the actual people that help contribute to this platform's success, and yet somehow we're not allowed to talk about that. Now, I know it's a little bit off tangent here, but he does make a good point. As much as I don't like his channel, as much as I don't like what he does, I will actually agree. But again, doesn't mean that I like the dude because I agree. Just for the record.
Very careful with how I word things and phrase things, and when you're doing that live, it can be difficult. So FYI, that is why. But as I'm sure that you have heard, Texas has recently passed a law effectively banning abortions, and you absolutely know what's going on in Afghanistan, I'm sure. And the main theme here is that women are losing rights. And I know that, when it comes to abortion, etc., it isn't just a issue dealing with women, but it's also affects, those who identify as other genders. So it's not just a woman.
Okay, hold on a second. Then this is the part where it kind of goes off a slipstream. When you identify as something, and yeah, call me a mean son of a bitch if you want. And yes, I said the word bitch. So this is the pop snapping issue I have here. When you identify as something, and I'm going to say it bluntly, and I'm going to just say it as it is. You are who you are based upon how you are physically made. If you're a trans person, okay, I'm totally for that because it's factual. I'm for what's factual, not because you just identify. I can just say I identify as the TV here because I can just project things. I can pretty much just say words that other people are saying with different languages, or I can just pretty much display the brightness out of my own eyes because I just identify as a TV. Or I identify as an unknown sex of a legendary Pokemon like Suicune, which pretty much nobody knows the sex, whether if it's male or female, even according to the Pokedex on that. That's physically impossible. Factually, I am a man. Why? It's factual. And it's also on my birth certificate. It displays the actual fact of who I am. When people say they identify as a wolf, and I've heard this before, as they identify as all these ridiculous things, this is where I really wish to tell these people to just shut the hell up. Because it is embarrassing to hear that crap. Very much. And I don't feel guilty for saying that whatsoever. It is the most ludicrous and cringy thing I have ever heard in my life. Hands down.
Women's issue. We might talk a little bit about that. But to keep things concise and clear, for now, in general, women's rights are being stripped away.
Okay.
In Afghanistan, in Texas, and this is a trend that is occurring at a quicker rate. And it's disgusting. And what is happening here is that you can see lately, women have been rising up. Women have been rising up, and rightfully so. Because this world is a patriarchal system that has oppressed women for...
Okay, it's not the world, okay? It's certain areas, but if you're gonna judge the entire world based off of like a particular system that was created by pretty much different forms of government in different areas, you're really pretty much barking up the wrong tree, because not every single country operates under the exact same kind of notion and rule. You can go back in history and you can look at certain areas that have done that, but you can't judge the whole world as a whole, because not every single area of country or pretty much nation operates under the same function of political systems or pretty much their own views and religious ideologies. You can't just generalize the entire area of the whole if you don't have all of the information for that. You can't just base it off of some blind statistic because one area operates and then all of a sudden you blame the entire world for something that either one country or 5 countries or maybe even 10 countries do. You can't base it off that. So this is kind of where you kind of slope a little bit. So
Thousands of years. And
yeah, based off of thousands of years, but yet the entirety of it.
this is, of course, angering many people, and we are seeing now a backlash from those who want the world to remain the same and don't want to see progress.
Okay, look, I'm for progress too, but as opposed, okay, and here's the thing: I will give you the benefit of the doubt of recent, because number one, it has been a terribly, terribly long while since I've seen your videos. I don't know what's changed, and that is why I'm not going to come to that absolute conclusion. I can only go off of based off the history that I've made covering your videos. And not a whole lot of people on your side agree with me about things. And this is where I really want to get right back into when people go like, well, you're a Christian, you're just preaching, it's not just me, and I'm not just speaking as a Christian, because there are other people around the whole different aspects of religion, and people who even disagree with Christianity. They both agree with the fact that Hyperianism is nonsense, because it doesn't go in a single linear direction of knowledge. Now, let me just rephrase that. Hyperianism itself is a completely different structurized belief system, as opposed to everything else that at least has some congruent form of history. This was formed by a guy who was formerly on pretty much of a TV show. Probably formed a video of some sorts in his house and basically just said, you know what, Hyperianism. Now, as for the whole women's issues, I agree with that. I agree with the notion. I do agree that the fact that it is a terrible thing, and it's also something that the world does need progress, and we do need change. I agree with that point. But I get this strange feeling that there's a strange vibe that's coming from, like, possibly the middle part of this. So I'm just curious to see where this is going to go.
They want the world to be regressive and go backwards, rather than progressive and go forwards. So we have things happening in Texas that are taking us, years and years and years back, and we have things occurring in Afghanistan that is just beyond words how terrible it is. I wish I could express myself to the full extent of how I feel about it, but I can't because of social media. Also,
honestly, why should you honestly care? I mean, on YouTube, worst case scenario, your videos doesn't get monetized. Some of my videos, I don't monetize some of them, and I say all the words I say because, you know what, screw them. Screw what YouTube thinks. Screw what censorship means. You want to say something, you say it. Don't be afraid to speak your mind out. Worst case scenario, your video doesn't get monetized. So why should that stop you from sending your message? Much as I don't really agree with your cult-like stuff, but speaking to you as a human being, to a human being, is that you got the right to say what you want to feel. Now, depending on how you say it, there is a consequence for it. But if you want to express what you feel about certain things that you feel are affecting things, okay, what's to stop you? If you want to actually use curse words, by all means, use curse words. Hell, I just said the word bitch about, 10 minutes ago? This isn't going to get monetized. I don't care. This is basically just me streaming. Because, you know what? Fuck YouTube. Fuck what they think. It's my channel, the way I want to do things. It's the way I want to run it. See? And even if we have disagreements, it doesn't mean we have to be enemies. That's actually what I love about my audience here. Sometimes, even if they disagree with me about things, it doesn't mean we have to, try to kill each other. Good enough.
So this is something that does work me up, because I care very much about this. I'm very passionate about women's rights and freedom for individuals to actualize themselves. And it's absolutely disgusting and appalling to me what is occurring. So, as you know, Afghanistan has recently been taken over, and they want to institute Sharia law, which is absolutely abysmal to women. Women are effectively being, they can't even go out onto the street now for fear for their lives. I'm sure you've heard very much about that. Also in Texas, they have this abortion law that has passed, and what this abortion law does, you probably know, but it bans any abortion effectively past the 6-week period. And this effectively bans 85 to 90% of abortions. Why? Well, because most women don't even know that they're pregnant. I mean, think about it. You probably at that stage would perhaps just notice that, oh wow, hey, my period's late. So the vast majority of abortions happen after the 6-week period, because most women don't know that they have been.
Okay, and here's the thing. I may be a little bit ignorant when it comes to this, but let me kind of address this while we're pretty much doing this. My view on this is that I am pro-choice. A woman's body is her own business. Nobody's got any right to tell a woman what to do with her body. I believe that goes for government. I believe that goes for both men and women. That goes for anybody. So that being said, like, I completely respect what a woman wants to do with her own body in terms when it comes to pregnancy. What she does, if it's to improve her health, if she wants to do like whatever it is, that's her right to do so. It's not my right to do such things to that would kind of cause any kind of complication. So that being said, 6 weeks. Okay, well, you gotta also think about this too. 6 weeks. I don't want to throw in the whole topic of RAPE, just because even that kind of topic really makes me feel uncomfortable just to even talk about, honestly. But let me go right back to, and this is what Orlando just said, it takes away choice. Choice is about the decision that you want to make, and that's choice is supposed to be something like a right. If you choose to actually do what you need to do, then by all means, because I feel like that is a right that every single woman should have. The right to choose what they want to do with their body, with being pregnant or not pregnant. If they choose that they do not want to be pregnant, that is their choice. That is nobody else's decision. The decision is ultimately up to them, because that is pretty much the life that they're carrying. Now, whether if you want to call it a life or not, because depending on like what the size is and pretty much between the weeks and span and stuff, that's pretty much what we're talking about here.
They have gotten pregnant. So it effectively bans abortions. It's absolutely atrocious with women's rights, and in addition to that, they have also effectively put a bounty on anyone trying to get an abortion by rewarding private citizens for basically hunting down women.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me search this up. Okay, new Texas law opens abortion bounty hunting. CBS News, Economist.com, MSN, Live Action. Again, don't go to the first 2 or 3 ads or the first 3 websites that you see. Don't really trust those. Gotta take a little bit look more into this. Text abortion on MSN, Pathos, Draconian. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he's got a point here. It's because I never heard this part in terms of that entire form of controversy, But $10,000? Seriously? A reward of at least 10. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me kind of like sidetrack off of Morg for a minute and kind of get into the whole my anger with the whole government system here. Who in the hell puts a bounty on somebody that actually should have the choice to do what she wants to do? Who in the hell made that? Seriously. So a woman, if a woman got raped and she wanted to terminate that pregnancy, that is her right to do so. But now, like, say if that's the case, then if that same particular woman who didn't want that child to begin with in the first place because of that said incident, that RIPE incident, and say the government actually places a $10,000 bounty on the victim, yeah, I'm gonna be fucking pissed off about that. Beyond pissed. That is more like, as much as I hate to have to kind of like phrase it this way, but like stuff like that is what would cause people to go up in arms, like a government takeover, because that is, not only is that draconian, that is vile, that is very vindictive. What's the other word I'm looking for? Not sinister, but I'd say more of a, what's like a better word for corrupt? And very insidious. That's what I have to put it as. So, yeah.
So essentially, what this is that if you're a
Stupid,
private
yeah.
citizen, you can sue anyone who is attempting to get an abortion, or helping someone get an abortion, or even that has the intent to help someone get an abortion. To show you how crazy this is, for example, let's say a woman's trying to get an abortion and they take an Uber to the clinic. A private citizen could sue the Uber driver, even if the Uber driver has no idea that that's where the woman is.
Okay, I understand the hypothetical scenario, but how would the private citizen actually know for an absolute fact, though? And I'm only adding this. I'm not disagreeing with this hypothetical scenario, but I'm trying to add to this. But like, how would the private citizen know at least that's the case? Because, hell, let's just say a woman takes an Uber. She doesn't say anything. She has her own decisions, her own private decisions. Takes an Uber, and private citizen puts the bounty on her, and she be like, oh, well, what are you talking about? I'm not going to that. I'm going to the mall. I'm going to the store. I'm actually going to get something to eat. Because whose business is that anyway? I mean, it's one of those weird moments where you actually agree with Morgue Official. It's weird, but you know what? There are a few things that I do disagree with that I actually saw in this video, but like it's just, I guess it's one of those days.
The individual is going. It's insane. And on top of this, if their lawsuit is successful, that private citizen is awarded $10,000. $10,000. And this is incredibly nefarious by the state of Texas, and they know exactly what they're doing. And what they're doing is they are putting a $10,000 bounty on the heads of women who want to exercise simply the freedom over their autonomy. Absolutely disgusting what's going on.
I don't disagree. You got a fair point.
So, what's going on here is a consequence of mainstream religion. That's absolutely obvious.
Okay, hold on a second. This is supreme. Okay, so where did we get the? Okay, unless you're talking about like the Middle East, I could understand that, but like you were just on Texas, so where did Do you just blame mainstream religion for everything? I mean, as much as I'm really not trying to like, I don't side with the whole kind of idea of mainstream religion, okay? Because I try to stay non-religious, but like, the thing about it is, like, obviously, I read the Bible, right? I believe in God. I gave my life to Jesus. But here's the thing. I don't judge people for what they believe in because that's their right, and I love everyone for who they are. And if you believe anything differently, well, you know, you get no judgment from me. The important thing is that you live your life, I live my life. We good, okay? And even if we have disagreements again, it doesn't bother me. You get in my book. Just as long as you're not being judgmental, malicious, or what's the other word? Being extremist about it, or having malicious intent with that sort of stuff. Other than that, we good. Let me check out my live chat real quick. Not explicitly pro-choice or pro-life, however, as someone who's a woman, aka demographic, is affected by the woman's issues, I will say it's a necessary evil. Okay. Okay, I can understand that part. Okay, but let me go into this. Texas law. So pretty much, this is in a political system, right? Okay, so the confusing part is that how did mainstream religion come into effect to this? I mean, I get it. They actually, mainstream religion or the religion itself in pretty much governmental systems can sometimes intertwine, but where did the idea of that come from?
Is in Afghanistan with the explicit desire to implement Sharia law.
Okay. So he means by the Middle East. See, he had me confused for a moment because he just was on Texas, and immediately he kind of like he lost me right at the point where he's like, okay, well, mainstream religion, but then he hops over to pretty much the Middle East. Okay, context clear on that. I think that could have been a little bit more clear. So, I think institutional religion would be a little bit more to that, or pretty much extremism or extremist religion. That's a little bit more of an appropriate pronunciation. That's the more appropriate label for that because mainstream religion that just seems just mediocre compared to extremist religion. So I think the word you're really looking for is a extremist religion because if women are deciding to get an abortion and they're being killed over that belief or that not belief for that choice, then that's terrorism and extremism, which are both unacceptable by the world.
By the way, just a couple days ago, was it 2 days ago? There was a protest, women's protest in Afghanistan. Guess what happened? People were detained and women were whipped. And I'm sure that that's the least of what's going on. That's just some of the stuff that we see and know about and is reported. Think about all the stuff that isn't reported. Think about everything that you're not hearing about. Sorry. This really, it really does make. I'm very angry, and I also makes me very sad. It makes me. It's a difficult thing to talk about. It really is. Especially the fact that I want to speak out more on it, and they make it so.
What's stopping you from speaking out about it? And if you say it's because I really need to make money, I'm just gonna say this just because I want to be sure about it. Shut up. It should not be about money. It's more about your voice. It's more about what you believe in. It shouldn't be about money. So if that's what's on your mind, get it out of your mind. Okay.
Difficult on social media. Anyway, explicitly fueled by mainstream religion in Afghanistan. And
extremist religion, mainstream media, again, it just sounds like a crock of shit compared. You might as well just say extremist religion.
in Texas, it is absolutely a consequence of religion. Now, would they say that?
Okay, so wait a minute. So you actually do. Okay, you made a lot more sense when you were talking about the Middle East with religion. How does it, how does it make a congruent? How is it tangible? Because it just sounds to me that it's more of a political issue than a religious issue. Yes, you're probably going to have those people out protesting the opposite side saying, well, if you get an abortion, you're going to hell. Yeah, those people can go fuck themselves, okay? Those people are judgmental. That I understand. But, like, you made it sound more of a political issue in the state of Texas than it was with the Middle East in its terms of political issues. You made that more about the extremist religious issues that are going on in the Middle East. With Texas, you made it sound like a political issue. This is more centered around a political issue, okay? If it was more of a religious issue, I would have been hearing a lot more about it being a religious issue. It's a political issue in Texas. Because if it was a very, very high religious issue in Texas, I'm pretty sure that the equivalency between that and the Middle East would probably be somewhere in between. Only difference is they don't behead, they don't whip, they don't line people up and shoot them, because this isn't Nazi Germany anyway. You know, worst case scenario, like I said, $10,000 for that or being detained and possibly put in the crazy bin or a jailhouse, as opposed to the Middle East. So this is more of a political issue. If it is in fact a religious issue, worst case scenario, they're being judged by a bunch of overly religious, zealous pricks. That's what I'm trying to get at. That is the worst case scenario ever that I can think of in the United States. Because again, and it kind of goes back to what my pal Stevie said back in the day, where in today's world do you see people being executed for their beliefs or their right to do so in the United States of America? Where? You're not going to find it. You'll definitely find it in the Middle East, but you will not find it much here.
Probably not. But it obviously is. And this goes to show you how the ideas of mainstream religion infect the unconscious psyche. So even if people don't profess to claim to be a part of this religion, the ideas and ideals still seep into the unconscious and guides them. And, you know, as you know, I mean, I grew up in a strict Christian household, and we were absolutely against abortion. Why? Well, because it's God's will that a woman get pregnant and have this child. It's, of course, all part of God's will, all part of God's...
Yeah, but that's your family's perspective on the matter. Now, I'm not claiming to be someone who knows everything according to certain doctrines or certain areas, but that is still implied the use of free will. That's free will pretty much, I think, imposes over everything there. You have the power to choose, and that should be what's important over that issue. Free will is the power to choose.
Plan that this soul is now, you know, in the world, and so to get an abortion is...
That's also claiming that in scientific fact, if it reaches a certain size into a certain shape and also has pretty much the breathing capabilities, then yeah, you would have a point. But if we're talking about not even close to a zygote, come on. You got time to get an abortion. I'm saying this directly to government officials and to medical areas and to people that are like so overly zealous.
To be opposed to God's will and God's plan. It's a sin against God, because God wanted this to happen. By the way, the new abortion law implemented in Texas does not make an exception exception for incest and rape. Which oftentimes, that usually is an exception. But in this case, no. No exception.
And actually, you know, I will agree with you there. And I really think that is pretty much one of the most insidious things that I have ever heard, or pretty much any law that's anywhere passed. That's something that I find highly unacceptable. It's something that I obviously don't agree with. Not city house plan, but like, it's sinister and it's evil. And I really think that's not something that any woman should ever go through. And it's not fair that someone would be violated and then painted as, painted as a target. A victim that's painted as a target, especially with a $10,000 bounty on them, because they want to rid themselves of a nightmare that was given to them. And that's I agree. I agree that is something that it's not fair for those people to go through that. So, that being said,
for incest and rape. So if a woman is raped, they're going to be forced to have that child.
and fuck the government for pretty much implementing that.
If not, they can face serious consequences and fucking bounties on their heads.
And again, fuck the government on that. That's cruel, wicked, and evil.
From private citizens looking for a $10,000 payday. Fucking disgusting. And the governor was asked about this. Oh, why didn't you make an exception for rape and incest? You know what his response was? Well, because we're going to eliminate rape. We're going to get rid of it. And so there won't be a problem because there won't be any rape.
That's like saying that even if you legalize marijuana, crime goes down, or you legalize cocaine, crime goes down. Not necessarily kind of the full mixture of that, because you're still going to have crime no matter what. So, and I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm adding to that point. So it's like saying that just because you do this and this, however, though, that's like saying that in order to put out a fire, you have to make another fire to put that fire out, which makes absolutely no sense. So the government or the governor's logic right there is just as fallible as somebody giving, like a person giving a blind man a pair of binoculars. It makes absolutely no sense at all. The logic itself does not have any sense in that matter whatsoever, because you can't stop this by pretty much the system is pretty much rewarding the violators, and that's what sucks. And those are the type of people that seriously really wish, or I really wish, that would actually get their comeuppance, or pretty much get with what's coming to them. Because that kind of system is only rewarding vile, repulsive, and evil behavior.
Oh, right. You're just going to get... Oh, yeah. That makes sense. You're just going to get rid of rape. How are you going to... How the... It's disgusting. It's offensive. It's regressive beyond words. And, I mean, people are appalled by this. There's a lot of people angry about this, but
okay, here's one thing I will ask, because you said mainstream religion had something to do with this in the state of Texas, but you didn't connect the dot between the governmental system or the political issue and the religious issue area. If you could have just said that, yeah, there's protesters that are religious zealots, okay, you would have had a point, but you still haven't correlated how mainstream religion had anything to do with this. Now, maybe I haven't read into an article that pretty much shows the religious, the mastermind of the religious points that pretty much are supposed to be displayed here, but the only thing that I got out of this was the political issue in the state of Texas. Hence, I have had no bullet points of this, and this, besides a personal story regarding him and his family, saying that rape is, rape or abortion goes against God's plan. What I only have a personal aspect that's the only closest thing that I have is his personal aspect, which and I sympathize with him. I do sympathize, despite the fact that I do not believe this charlatan on a lot of things in terms of his Hyperionism crap. However, though, even in certain regards, I do agree with him on this particular set of issues. But I'm failing to see how the mainstream religion has anything to do with this, because he based it off of a personal story that I guess affected him, and you know, you do you. That's your thing. I ain't judging you for that part. But if you're just going to make the argument that the mainstream religion is basically responsible for the abortion law based upon a personal story that you made, then again the logic is still fallible. So I'm actually just going to stop right here at this point, which I agree with about 85% of what he said, but there are a few things that I do find very flawed about this, sincerely. So, I'm going to just move on. Like I said, I'm not going to really make a big deal. So this is actually one of the very first few times I actually do agree with Morg on a lot of the issues on this. I do. Quick thing though, again, I think the one that killed me the most was just the mainstream religion. Like, he had a good point with the Middle East, with mainstream religion, what he could have just said extremist religion, because that makes more sense. But he kind of like sloped, in my opinion, when he couldn't really bridge the gap between that point of religion and political issues. Would have made more sense if he actually had more points to that. Other than that, for once, you actually, or institutional religion, yes, that too. But for once, wow, Morg, I'm actually impressed, despite the fact that I still think you're a charlatan, in my opinion. However, though, moving on from that. So, geez, oh my gosh, my video's still up there. Alright, I got a little bit of time left before I end this stream off. Probably got like 10 more minutes, but I'm gonna try to at least, like, throw something in here. Ooh, let's try this. Okay, nothing here, so. Wow, I'm surprised. Dude, I'm surprised my under the 45-degree angle thing actually got 116 views. I'm actually kind of happy about that. Type this in real quick. Okay, well, never mind. I thought I would be seeing something out of this, but apparently that's not the case. Okay, well, I thought I would have something by then, but I guess I don't have anything right now, but. Huh. Oh, actually, wait a minute. There is something. So, Damien Skyfire, Hate Club 2, so. Okay. YouTube, if you really want to actually crack down on content that's actually offensive and also very questionable, accounts like this gotta go. So example, the Damien Skyfire Hate Club 2 making videos. I mean, I understand this is just Grand Theft Auto stuff, that's not the offensive part, but like, really. So one video called I Killed Damien Skyfire with my gun, I robbed Damien Skyfire and killed him. Damien Skyfire funeral real footage. Not only is that misleading, that it's also a very, very dark and ominous tone to that. Well, that's just, this one's just an insult video, which that's fine. It's, you know, because people are entitled to their stuff, despite how stupid that can be. Do better, Susan, please. So another one right here, another I killed Damien Skyfire. Joined the Damien Skyfire Sucks Army today, which, like, seriously, this is, no, this is, not only does this content look stupid, it just looks very, very questionable. Oh, actually, there's an original one. Jeez. Okay, well, I got that part covered, so. I think that's just it for right now. I think I'll live stream the whole under the 45-degree angle live stream like later on, probably tomorrow, if I ever get a chance to do so. But I just figured this would be a good time to like come back and do this because I haven't done it in a while. And not to mention, I love doing it from like my own room, just so that way you guys can see what's going on. Which I need to get my TV back up and playing and kind of build my own piece of furniture right over here. So I'm really happy about that. So for right now, I'm actually just gonna call it a day or call it a night for that particular matter. So I will catch you guys later. You guys stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in my next stream. Okay? Catch you guys later.